The specific reason is my father himself is an automobile engineer.
Wow.
He said he was the one who advised me to take mechanical as a core branch, do fix all my basics straight. Mechanical is basically what we study in aerospace too. 60% of mechanical engineering is what is
Exactly.
aerospace. So specialization is aerospace, mechanical is my core. The education system that we have in India is like basically, I would say it's obsolete now compared to the
Yes,
entire
yes.
world, Western world, because there it's more about reading the textbook and going and writing the exam, that's it. But here it's more about practically applying your concepts in the exam itself. I got a working student job there as a structural design engineer. And
Super.
then that's when everything started falling in place. Just by studying at a top tier university, it doesn't guarantee you a job in the job market.
Nothing is guaranteed. Yes, true.
Yeah, you need practical and even like more. I would stress more on industrial experience, but also research experience also counts. Really helpful. They even reply to our emails, our doubts. Professors basically. These people are. These people have like 20-30 years of industrial experience in their field and also 10-15 years of educational experience in their field. They don't just work at the university as professors.
Yes.
They also go to companies for consultations, and not just normal companies, not startups. Basically they go to big Airbus, Boeing, all those companies. The amount of money the government puts into these universities,
yes,
and the facilities that they make. We actually have a wind tunnel, our own wind tunnel basically, which tells which like our aerodynamics professor used to take us there and then like show what is real aerodynamics basically, like putting in objects inside the wind tunnel and showing the profiles. Basically, like that level of education is required. You can go do your Erasmus exchange at any one of the Ivy League universities. They are tied with all the 7 Ivy League universities, and then you can go for an Erasmus exchange. MIT, Harvard, basically Princeton, anywhere. But then you don't pay the semester fees that the students at MIT pay for that semester that you go and work. You just pay 75 euros. I also landed a job at Volocopter. That was an urban air mobility company that makes urban air taxis. That's where I started my intern career as an EVIS engineer. After the first semester, I got this working student job at Max Planck, which was like right next to our university campus. And then I got this intern job at Volocopter, where I shifted for another city, basically in central Germany, in Baden-Württemberg, called Bruchsal. And basically while doing this job, I also did my master thesis there. I got my first full-time job at Accenture, basically Accenture ESC, but I was working for Airbus Helicopters here in Donauwörth. And then I left Airbus Helicopters after a year, and then now May 1st I started April 1st I started my new job as an EVIS engineer at this space tech company.
Hello everybody, welcome all of you. My name is Shivaraman, Director of Europe Study Center. Today we are going to interview our student who studied in Germany, Technical University of Munich, Aerospace degree, and currently working there. So Jayant, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me here.
Thank you. Thanks for allotting us time and sharing your experience of studying in Germany with us. So before that, please introduce yourself to our audience.
Yeah, sure. So yeah, I did my name is Jayan Shivakumar. First of all, I did my bachelor's in mechanical engineering from SJBIT in Bangalore, belongs to the BGS group, and later I pursued my master's degree in aerospace engineering at Technical University of Munich. So yeah, I'm currently working as an electromechanical engineer, basically EVIS engineer. That's what we call in aviation, for a space tech company, which I am not supposed to say.
No problem, no problem. In this interview, you can only share what you have, what you can say, because this is all about your journey and it's to inspire young people. So the details which need not be, spoken in the public domain need not. Okay, that way. So during your studies, there would be a point of trigger, right, in your mind. I think bachelor's is not enough. I have to pack my bags and explore more and learn more. When did that come to Jayant?
Yeah, that was normally there since I started basically my goal was to become an aerospace engineer
Wow.
and
Okay.
have a master's degree in it. So it was always there from my childhood.
Okay. So,
Yeah.
but bachelor's, you took up mechanical. Any specific
Yeah,
reason for that?
yeah, the specific reason is my father himself is an automobile engineer.
Wow.
He
Okay.
he said he was the one who advised me to take mechanical as a core branch, do fix all my basics straight. Mechanical is basically what we study in aerospace too. 60% of mechanical engineering is what is
Exactly.
aerospace. So specialization is aerospace, mechanical is my core.
Wonderful. And if I was your father, I would have told the same. No,
Mm,
for aerospace at UG level, let's do fundamental courses at UG level, and let's do specializations at the
mm,
PG level. So
PG
then,
level. Yeah.
right after your bachelor's, you immediately started your master's, or you had a break in between?
Yes, yes. I right after my bachelor's, I immediately started my master's. That's actually more interesting timeline of my life because I was I wrote my last exam of my bachelor's and I got my visa the next day uh,
Wow.
for my
Wow.
master's.
Same like me, brother. That's what I tell people. But some people who live in that old school ideologies, they sit and talk all the time. Oh, you work for 2 years, then plan your masters, and nobody comes back.
It doesn't happen that way once you
23,
leave.
exactly. Same like Jayant, or in my case, 23 and a half years, we should get the master's degree done and dusted, and then
Yeah.
jump into the professional life and
Yes.
study, work. Then study doesn't work. Directly we should go for the kill. When a student who studied in Germany and also successful, only when you say it adds more value. That's why
Yeah.
I brought this particular topic. So,
Thank.
okay, the master's aerospace is fixed because that was from your childhood. When
Yeah.
did you zero in on the concept of Europe?
Europe, yeah. First, my choice there were three main choices. First one was Europe. Second one was UK, and third one was America. Third one was America because yeah, we have the Ivy League universities in America too. But then the problem was I didn't want to pay such exorbitant fees even when I'm eligible to get a seat there. And then
Smart,
yeah,
smart.
yeah. Uh, Considering Europe, TUM is number one in Europe now that UK is not part of Europe. Yeah, just
And
I have.
I would not even spend my time talking about UK because it's a no-brainer that you kick that option out. And 1 year masters is not valid anywhere in the world, and they don't process your work visas and plenty of other issues. So
Yeah,
perfectly, you choose Europe. So then so how did the first semester go? Because we study in a different
yeah,
education system pattern. So how did Jayant adapt
yeah.
to the TUM level of curriculum and education system?
Sure, sure. I can understand yeah, the education system that we have in India is like basically I would say it's obsolete now compared to the
Yes, yes,
entire
yes.
world, Western world, because there it's more about reading the textbook and going and writing the exam. That's it. But here it's more about practically applying your concepts in the exam itself.
So you kind of got used to the system in the first semester itself.
Yeah, first semester, I still remember I took a course called Introduction to Astrophysics, which was not too much relevant to aerospace engineering as per se. It was more of a research subject. And then that's when everything changed. I got like one in that subject, and then the professor actually recommended me a job at Max Planck Institute for Extraterrestrial Physics. That's like basically ISRO in India for per
Wow, of
se.
course, yeah,
Yeah,
super, super.
yeah. Normally, the outside the EU, no one gets recruited there basically as a part time or basically a full time. Full time they do, but then they are PhD students basically. Upon his recommendation, I got a working student job there as a structural design engineer, and
Super.
then that's when everything started falling in place because here in Germany it's not so easy to find a job. Like just by studying at a top tier university, it doesn't guarantee you a job in the job market.
Nothing is guaranteed. Yes, true.
Yeah, you need practical and even like more. I would stress more on industrial experience, but also research experience also counts. something which tells your employer, that a certificate which tells from your previous companies that you worked for, that this is an eligible candidate, he can do the work that he's hired for. That should be there, but the degree can't tell that, to be sure. To be
Exactly.
really frank, people think
Yes,
with
yes.
this, people come with the same mindset here. Okay, I'm from IIT, I get a job. It's not like that here.
Jayant, that's the whole objective of doing these interviews. Okay,
Yeah.
your journey, because since you were going through all these things, now currently working in your dream domain, whatever you dreamed of, when we document this, even if it inspires few young minds, I'm sure Jayant is going to be happy spending this 45 minutes time with us, which I
Sure,
will,
sure.
which I can.
Yeah.
That's the whole objective of this. We inspire young minds to spend less, learn more, focus on skill development, etc., etc. Then
Yeah.
talking about the professors at Technical University of Munich, how helpful they were in your journey?
They're all helpful. Like, basically for them, it's like, if they find you that, okay, you take it's fully free course. It's not structured as per what we've already studied in our bachelor's or something. They don't put on like structured subjects in every semester, and then you have to pass them to go to a next semester. It's not like that. You choose from like 100 200 subjects that are there, which are divided into mandatory courses, and then practical courses, and then finally your electives basically, and all these things. You choose from them, you choose your study structure. Basically, so for example, if one subject you take, and then there will be an entire chair behind it for that one single subject, one professor for it,
Wow.
and then many PhD students, many associate professors for it. And then if they find you that you are really interested in this subject, they will give you more mileage in that subject. Like, basically, they will once you get, like, yeah, for sure, they will see your grade in that subject. Okay, from the grade they can tell you that, okay, you are good. Or grade, even though if you get a meager grade, an average grade, they will ask one of his PhD students to take you under his wing, and then educate him more. So basically, that way it's really helpful. They even reply to our emails, our doubts. Professors,
Super.
basically, these people are these people have like 20-30 years of industrial experience in their field, and also 10-15 years of educational experience in their field. So they're all old people, but then that old as in they're so experienced in their
Experience. Yeah,
profession.
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, so they take time out of their busy schedule. Yeah, this I say because they don't just work at the university as professors. They
Yes.
also go to companies for consultations, and not just normal companies, not startups. Basically, they go to big
Big.
Airbus, Boeing, all those companies, basically. And in that time, they take, okay, Sunday evening, I send them an email. Okay, I have doubt in this. Next day, I have an exam. Okay, they put down a clean explanation for that topic, and they'll send it to you within like 5 to 10 minutes, basically.
Amazing,
Yeah,
isn't it? For me, it looks like it's like a magic. Whatever you have said, it's really amazing. Just the imagination, Jayant. Imagine, the professors that you had in TUM. We have in India, all universities having the similar professors. Imagine, where and what level of technology we would have built in our country, especially when we have the most number of youngsters across the globe.
India, I should not tell all these things, but then in India, if you have to become a professor, it just depends on how many years are you an assistant or an associate professor. Basically, it's not like that here. Even if you're an assistant, or assistant for like 5 years or 6 years, if the management level finds you deemed enough to head a chair, basically they give you that post. And then
Super.
that comes like that basically tells that, okay, they make professors only the really deserving candidates. That's it,
Deserving
not just.
candidates.
Yeah,
Exactly. And I always say this in all my interviews. I have no problem in telling this. Without qualified professors, you can never give high quality education to the children. However, the brainy the child is, we need
yeah,
mentors. The car could
yeah,
be super powerful, but you still need a driver to drive it,
exactly. Yeah,
safely towards the destination. That is the role of a professor, basically.
And also, I wouldn't blame the professor as much, but the amount of money the government puts into these universities
Yes, yes,
and
yes.
the facilities that they make, we actually have a wind tunnel, our own wind tunnel, basically, which tells, which like our aerodynamics professor used to take us there and then like
Wow.
show what is real aerodynamics, basically. Like putting in objects inside the wind tunnel and showing the profiles, basically. Like that level of education is required, that level of
Required.
practical education. Not
Excellent.
just like, okay, you study theorems in your book, yeah, but then you don't know what each and every component in that equation means unless and until you don't know, but then you can't like pass a subject here.
Pass a single subject, we cannot pass. Yes, as a
No, no.
student, yeah, I also studied in a top public university in Sweden. But without understanding the concept, you will always be zero. With the
You
concepts, you
studied
will
in
always pass
KTH.
it. Pardon
You
me?
studied at
I
KTH
studied in
or?
Linköping. I studied in
Okay.
Linköping. Linköping. It's
Yeah.
2 hours from KTH. Yes.
Mhm.
So then comes the next one more time. Like, what was the title of your master program? Did you have any specializations in that?
My title was MS Aerospace Engineering. Then I was like, my master thesis was, my semester thesis was like, I did not narrow down my course into one single stream because we are not in that era now. You
Okay,
should
yeah,
be
yeah.
like, rather than being
Multidisciplinary.
master of one, you should be jack of all trades now to get a job, basically, in Europe,
Yes.
because here they
Yes.
put one posting in a company and then there are 200-300 applicants for that single posting. It's not a mass hire here as we do in India.
Yes.
So we should be adaptable to work in different fields.
Okay.
So for that, what I did was like I balanced my study structure. I took equal amount of courses in design, structures, and dynamics and aerodynamics, and basically uh, even astrophysics. That's what I said. Even astrophysics and this thing, control systems and everything. Basically, that way, I also landed a job at Volocopter. That was an urban air mobility company that makes urban air taxis. That's where I started my intern career as an EVIS engineer, and then that's what I'm doing now as my full-time career. I'm an EVIS engineer now. But I was working at Airbus Helicopters for a year. That was aviation field. I felt it is too structured there. I couldn't
Okay.
do anything new, so I just jumped. I got a new offer, a better one. Like I wouldn't say a better one, but then a place where my ideas get seen and everything. What I
More
can do.
connected. Yeah.
New,
Okay.
yeah. So I took this offer, but this is a space industry. So basically, the way I structured my course in my masters gave me way to work both in an aviation industry and in a space industry, because both have different standards of design, both have different
Yes. Yes.
regulations,
Yes.
and everything is different. But only when you know both, you can work in both. That's it. So
Which one?
that's what I planned.
Which one was your cup of tea? Aviation or space? Which one?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like as an EVIS engineer, as an electromechanical engineer, for everyone to understand, it's better if I say electromechanical engineer. EVIS means electrical wiring interconnection systems engineer,
Okay.
basically. Basically, we do the entire schematics, wiring, design, and then
Wow.
everything what is of the electronic equipment of that flying object. Basically, I call it a flying object because I work at both aircraft and spacecraft.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, like as an EVIS engineer, I can work in these two domains because I wanted it to be like this. Uh,
Like this.
uh,
Okay.
yeah, because where you never know when the aerospace aviation domain falls, and then you want to find a new job, and then if you can't, if you have just worked in an aviation field, then you should find a job in an aviation field. But if you know your space standards right, then you can work also in the space field. So that's how the courses there are many courses also. There are not only these core courses that they teach at TUM, they also teach the certification courses,
Mm-hmm.
certification and standard CS courses, basically for both aviation and spacecraft.
Okay. So did you have any tuition fees when you studied at TUM for your
No,
course?
no, no, no.
Super, right? That's an
Back
amazing.
when
Same like you, brother. I also studied at free education, only spend for my living expenses. I feel more than the saving money, it gives you a level of freedom, right? to explore in your life because you don't have a big education loan back home.
Yeah,
Right?
That's why that's the reason I didn't want to go to America. Even though my parents could afford it, like I didn't want to do, like basically why? We have
Exactly.
bright minds at TUM, the same minds who go for an Erasmus exchange at MIT basically.
Exactly.
And they don't
See,
pay fees basically. Even I could have gone for like TUM offers this opportunity. You can go do your Erasmus exchange at any one of the Ivy League universities. They are tied
wow.
with all the 7 Ivy League universities, and then you can go for an Erasmus exchange. MIT, Harvard, basically Princeton, anywhere. But then you don't pay the semester fees that the students at MIT pay for that semester
Yes,
that you go and work. You just pay 75
exactly.
euros. That is your miscellaneous fee. That's it. Whatever it is.
I liked what you said. This is not about, as you rightly said, your parents would have sent you to US also. It doesn't matter financially, but that's not the question here. Why we need to spend? That
Yeah.
was my point. Similar to what we have to be smart enough. And when you were studying, not when you're working right now, when you were studying, so how much did you spend roughly per month in euros when you were studying in Germany?
Yeah, the initial first 2 semesters, I had a private housing. It
Okay.
was not from the government. In the third and the fourth semester, I got a government housing, a student dorm, basically. My first and second semester, it was around 500, 550 euros max. That's what I used to spend per month, basically.
Wow, super.
Yeah.
600
And
euros.
after that, it was just 400 euros basically. But the student dorms are much cheaper.
Accommodation, living expenses, both together, you mean?
Yes, yes.
Excellent. I think you have budgeted it, beautifully, so that you had a pretty good budgeting. And when you had calculated after your masters, the money that you would have spent, it was very optimal, which you would have recovered in few months of your salaries, which I
Mm-hmm.
feel every smart Indian student should do instead of selling their ancestral properties for going abroad. Which even today, when we are doing this interview, people are doing it.
They do it. They do it. That's the American dream.
Yeah. Only
But
God
I
can
don't
save
believe
them.
in it.
See, end of the day, when the government spends money for you, you should be smart enough to grab it with both of your hands. That's what, and even this intake, brother, this 2025, more than 200, 250 students, I'm sending them for completely free education, which is,
Mm-hmm.
a super feeling, basically. So then, when did you finish your master's and when did you get your first job?
I finished my master's in 2023 December. So basically, exactly 2 years after I came. And then I was like, yeah, this is the thing. Like first, after the first semester, I got this working student job at Max Planck, which was like right next to our university campus at Garching.
Super.
So I worked there for around roughly 10 months while studying itself because that was an entirely different project that I worked on. And then I was doing my semester thesis. Yeah. At TUM, we do two theses. You are obliged to
Wow.
do two theses.
Two.
You should, yeah, two theses. A semester Arbeit and a master's Arbeit. Yeah.
My goodness. Okay,
So
this is news to me.
yeah, you should do that. And then basically, I worked there for 10 months roughly from around 2022 August to around 2023 February or March. And then I got this intern job at Volocopter, where I shifted for another city, basically in central Germany, in Baden-Württemberg, called Bruchsal. And basically, while doing this job, I also did my master thesis there. I started my master thesis in May 2023, and then like morning I used to work there, my day job, and then at night I used to do my master thesis work because master
Wow.
thesis my supervisor was like really stubborn with, like he said, they like support you in everything. You want to do a job. It's for your career. But then I have taken you under my wing. I am your supervisor. So whatever meeting that we have in a week, give me some addition, like value to those meetings, and then give me what you worked on. So for that, I used to work on my simulations in the night because my master thesis was purely on structures. It was based on flax fiber reinforced composites. This is all I can say because that was a joint project between many different associations.
I understand.
Yeah.
Perfect. Yeah, yeah.
So that was purely composites, and then but then the day job was purely electrical. Yeah. So I used to do that.
Amazing.
Night I used to work, and then December I finished. December was my thesis presentation, and then basically I still worked as an intern at Volocopter until March of 2024, because they also extend. They also made me stay there as a voluntary intern, because at that time I think there was it was a startup basically. So there was some company internal problems that they couldn't make me a full-time employee.
Okay, okay.
Uh, I worked there as a I work till March I worked there, and then April I got the my first full-time job at Accenture, basically Accenture ASG, but I was working for Airbus Helicopters here
So
in Donaworth. And then I left Airbus Helicopters after a year, and then now May 1st I started sorry, April 1st I started my new job as a Nevis engineer at this space tech company.
excellent, man. Amazing. Many young minds, where they aspire, I want to work in Airbus, I want to work with space technology. So this interview is surely going to, you know, uh, motivate them in a very big way. So even though you would have studied in a top university in the world and almost the #1 university in Germany, still the European education installs a quality of lifelong learning, right? We have to keep learning to be at the top of the technology. So kindly talk about that aspect of lifelong learning.
Yeah, basically Germany was the innovation hub in Europe. Basically, you have new tech coming every day. You should adapt for it. You can't like just because you know CATIA to design your sheet metal or your electrical harness doesn't mean you should just okay you apply all for other jobs with the same resume, because uh, CATIA itself is a French company again in Europe. It's from
Mhm.
Dassault Systems, so they do regular updates. They like they for CATIA V4, V5. There is now 3D experience. So basically, I'm just talking about one single product. Uh,
Yes.
what engineers work in, what I do, I work in basically. So these softwares, yeah, you might know, okay, they're from the same provider. Basically, it might be what more could change? No, there's too much of change. That's why company prefer this based upon its predecessor, basically. So the companies also promote this thing. They give regular trainings to new softwares that they inculcate in the company. That is like that's really good. That they just don't say okay you should do your self learning and then come work in the software new software the other day. So that's from this where I want to go is like basically you should look into the news daily, what's happening, what's coming out, and then you should adapt for it. Okay, I'm talking this both in educational terms and also bureaucratic terms, because many things change here in Germany on day-to-day life, basically.
Yes. Quickly.
Yeah.
Wonderful. You mean, we have to be razor sharp for us to adapt and keep moving. Otherwise, we are stuck.
Yes. Yeah.
For example, in your own case, immediately after your bachelor's, you started your master's. When you were doing your master's, you were doing your intern, which in turn took you to your full-time job. So there is no gap in between. And this will happen only when you meticulously plan and work hard. Otherwise, for after every move, there will be a break,
Yes.
and break. So wonderful.
That's why I'm saying
Excellent.
I didn't go to Prague. I didn't go to Venice. Yeah, there is some sacrifices that you should do, but then now I can go. Now I can go in
Yes.
my holidays and everything. No one's stopping me. But then at that time, it's better to like concentrate on one thing.
So now I would like to ask, how happy your parents are, especially your father, also from an engineering domain, looking at his young son, by the age of 25, he has explored so much. How does he feel right now?
Yeah, they're all like really happy. Like they were
Super,
like really happy from the day I came to Germany itself.
super.
Because yeah, I became independent after my first semester. Like I didn't take any money from home. Like basically, I should thank. I wasn't the person that I am now. Basically, in
Yes,
India,
yes,
like
yes.
I
From
I
a
used
from a bro, from a boy to a man. Can I say that? Kind of.
Sure. Yeah, Germany like really does that to you. It teaches you responsibility basically. I don't talk about other countries because I have not experienced that, because
Yes,
I'm just not telling it because you should be like that, but then the way the things work in Germany makes you that way basically.
that way.
It's automatic basically. You don't have to do anything from yourself. You just get habited to that
Exactly.
structure, time to time life,
You
like
automatically get,
robotic life. That's not really good, but then it is a robotic life. That's it.
you automatically get stimulated
Yeah,
of
yeah.
what's happening around you, and you also catch on to the vibe. Good. Excellent. So then, about your work-life balance.
Work-life balance is what Germans do the most. I have like now I have I'm confident to say that I've worked in both a top tier organization and a scaled up organization basically. So scaled up as in it was a startup, and now it's a scaled up industry basically. It's in its midlife to become an organization. So in both these form of structured organizations, Germany, all the German employees are subject to 8 hours working time,
Okay.
and this 8 hours is strict. Even employees
Strict
follow this. Employers also follow this. It doesn't matter
rules.
when you come to work. Like after 8 hours, no one, the employee will not even pick up a call from the office basically. And on Saturday, Sundays, no, like it's purely your time. No one should disturb you. That is a German law basically. It's really a German law here.
Exactly.
Yeah,
I've been interviewing with all the students studying in Europe, working in Europe. They say the same. Saturday, Sunday is your time, and even if some Indians go to work, the company supervisor or the superior says, "What are you doing here? You should be going out and skiing. Not sitting inside the."
startups startups will say that, but then the scaled ups and big organizations won't say that. They will directly ask you to go home because it will be a problem for the employer itself in Germany
Okay,
at
okay,
least.
okay, okay, okay. It's a law.
the
Okay,
it's a law basically. It's there's an organization called IG Metall. uh, they are the ones who like basically do all your salary structures and time of working,
everything.
and then how much salary should be minimum to all the employees, all the employers, and everything. So they, if they get to know, it will be a problem for the employer itself.
Problem for them.
So the employer doesn't want to take a chance. So it is a law basically. You are not allowed to work after 8 hours,
Allowed to
on the public holidays or on the weekends.
nothing. So it's very
If you
simple. In
unless
one line,
you have a German contract.
yes. In one line, follow the law of the land. Simple. It's safe
Germany
and
is that
secure
way. Germany is that way.
that way. Never,
Yeah.
never, never deviate. Just stick to the fundamentals.
Yeah.
Excellent. So, you have any plans of PhDs, research, something like that?
No. The next plan might like it might sound very foolish or stupid to you, but then like yeah, I
Why?
have
Why?
life. I have one life. I have to do like I also wanted to become an UPSC officer basically, either IAS or
By the
IPS.
way, why this has to be stupid or foolish? Come on,
No, no, like
it's excellent. It's good. Your life, as you said, you wish to explore, you want to push your limits, and why not? I'm only happy that you are talking about this. Yeah, I would love to know
my
more, please.
first milestone was to be an aerospace engineer and work in the domain. I did that, and then next I'm going to like study for UPSC like next year, as starting next year. And I think I have thanks to the thanks to the Indian government, I have another 6 years time to write the exam. So
Okay.
I'm going to study for another 2 3 years while working itself, and
Oh,
then if I crack, if I only if I get an IAS or IPS position, I come back to India, or else I stay here, I study here.
and maybe a few years down the line, we will be doing a part 2 with Giant IAS, maybe. Hopefully, you know,
Hopefully,
that would be like super awesome. Could
yeah,
see why we shouldn't aspire like this. We should keep pushing our limits and keep achieving. I'm sure, like with all your competence, with the level of planning that you especially do with your life at a very young age, I'm sure everything is gonna fall in place, man. Wonderful. And even though I know that you're very busy, and
No
to
problem.
allow us time to do this interview. Really thanks and hats off to you. Before we sum up this beautiful interview, Jayant,
Mhm.
what you would like to tell the young minds, watching this interview, who wants to work in aerospace domain with Airbus, space exploration? Tell
Mhm.
them what they should do, so that they could be successful in this particular domain. Not like an advice, okay? I know that you would not like to do that. Some input,
Yeah.
not do's and don'ts. These things are important for you to be successful. Of course, then it's up to their hard work too. Please.
Yeah. First and foremost thing is I'm just talking about my perspective.
Yes.
Uh, yeah, Europe is everyone's dream. Europe is tourist capital of the world, tourism capital of the world. There are many good places to see and everything. But then we should not get lost from the idea that we came here for in the first place. So yeah, it might seem too nerdish and studying every time because you should do that to get a degree which you came here for because the German consulate has given you a visa based upon that. But they didn't
Super.
give you to come see cities here. So we should do that first, and then after that, okay. After that, for as and when we finish our studies, some people they say okay, another 6 months I'm gonna look around. That's a travel break, career break, and everything. No, that doesn't work here. The
Okay.
main
Yeah.
thing is like with you should hit the iron when it's hot, like, or else when it becomes cold, then it can't be bent again. You can't like heat it up. Obviously, it'll have a crack then inside. Yeah.
Yes.
So just go into the workforce, work there for 1.5 year, 2 years, and then you will obviously have. Germany has a lot of holidays and strict holidays. They are just holidays. They're not working holidays basically. And then there will be in that time we can move around, look places and everything. But then studies, work, and then finally your leisure, basically. That's how Germany works.
Audience, it's not a joke, especially when it comes to studies in Germany. Same like as our brother friend Jayant said, you have to be really, really focused. And this is what, whenever I meet an youngster, when they say, brother, I'm going there for fun, I'm just going there for leisure, I say, please go to some other country. Certainly not to European countries because it's hardcore studies, man.
Yep.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. It was great talking to you, and all the best for all your super duper aspirations. I'm like overwhelmingly confident that you're going to crack the UPSC also. And once you crack the UPSC, give us some 15 minutes time. We will do the part 2 of this, which will, which
Sure,
will be
sure.
super amazing. Best wishes to you, your family members, and everything. And thank you so much. And you are going to inspire a lot of aerospace and space exploration aspirants with this
That
interview.
was my only objective to take the interview. Yeah.
Yes, because see, this entire interview is your journey. What you did, what you did not do, how focused you were, and what all you did to become successful.
And I
That is
will
why
add
I
one more thing. I will add one more thing. All the thing that I said last, like it doesn't mean that in weekends you should go out for a party. You shouldn't go out for a party and have
exactly.
fun or anything. But then I will promote that is required to be focused the entire week basically. I did it, but then only on the weekends, Saturday, not every weekends, but then it depends on you. But I'm not telling you
Yes.
not to play at all. You play when you have time.
Balance.
Yeah,
Balance.
that's it. The
We
center
have
of
to have
gravity should be at the point
a
there.
that's a quote from a super technical person, actually.
Yeah.
Because as you rightly said, brother, if we don't strike a balance, then lifelong it's an imbalance. Then regretting later is of no point. I hope people understand what we are talking about. Excellent, man. Thank you so much. I learned a lot of things from this interview, especially you need to do 2 master theses during your TUM journey. I learned it today. Thank you so much. And once again, to do this interview for us and on behalf of the students and parents watching this interview also, thank you so much. And waiting for the part 2 after you
Thank
get
you
the
so
news.
much.
Okay, I'm
Yeah.
sure the part two is going to happen.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Yeah.
Then IAS on the making. See you very soon. Okay.
Yeah.
Bye
Thank you
bye,
so much.
brother. Take care. Take care. Bye bye. Thank you.